You'll have to forgive me. I'm not very good with words. See, I'm a numbers guy. But I never could get my thoughts in order. I think that's why when I meet people I used to know in high school and I tell them that I became a teacher, they give me one of these looks like. But hey, I don't blame them. To be honest, I don't think anyone was expecting much of me. But hey, it's 7th grade algebra. Doesn't take a genius. Truth is, I never expected to become a teacher myself, but when I met Evangeline, I changed my mind. When I met Evangeline, everything changed. Loss. Loss brings an indescribable grief that not even time itself can fully heal, and nothing stings more than the loss of a loved one. However, in times of loss, we cannot let our memories die with our loved ones. When times are darkest, we can see how from even beyond the grave, our loved ones teach and lead us to the light at the end of the tunnel. Continuing Education by Jordan Douglas. Evangeline and I met in college, first day. I'm sitting there in my freshman composition class, ready to work my tail off when all of a sudden in walks Evangeline. She looked around for a seat, and I don't think she noticed me. Okay, she didn't notice me at all, but I noticed her. Oh, her long brown hair. And her eyes. Oh, she had these green eyes that they made my heart stop. Everything stopped. Needless to say, that is all I remember from my freshman comp class. I started to wait outside class until she went in, just so I could get the seat next to her. Of course, Evie was no dunce, so she noticed my childish attempts at flirting. Our first conversation was tragic, to say the least, but that conversation was the first thing Evie taught me. How to talk to girls, and from that moment on, she taught me everything I needed to know. I don't think I would have graduated without her help. She taught me how to study, how to dress like a gentleman, how to love. And there was nobody and nothing I loved like Evangeline. And even though I never felt like I really deserved it, Evie loved me too. Almost as much as she loved kids. You see, Evie's dream was to become a teacher, and after all she had taught me, becoming a teacher, it just seemed like the right thing to do. See, Evie and I, we never had our own kids. Evie had ovarian cancer. Even when we got married, it was already growing inside of her and eating away at her. We had just started our life together, and here we were about to be pulled apart. I prayed all day, every day. I held her head as she cried. Even years later, sometimes I would find her crying. I didn't even need to ask. I knew why. Evie had always wanted kids of her own. And to lose that change, to lose the opportunity to carry life inside of her, it nearly broke her to pieces. And if I had lost her to that like that, it would have broken me beyond repair. But she beat it. And I thanked God every day for giving me the chance to be with her. For the next 6 years, I didn't waste a second. That's why we moved back to my hometown and started teaching at the same school. Any chance I got, I'd walk around the corner and down the hall and peek into her classroom window just to see her. Even after 6 years of marriage, I was just a schoolboy with a crush. There are no other words for it, just, I love you. Like I said, I'm a numbers guy, and there's one number I can never forget. 4/24/98, April 24th, 1998. I can't ever forget that day. It was just like any other day. I woke up in the morning, Evie made breakfast, and then I drove us to work. Her classroom was right by the main door, so I snuck in and gave her a kiss before the kids started to pour in. I said, "I love you." She looked up at me with those magical green eyes and said, "I love you too." There were no other words, just, "I love you." Then I walked down the hall and around the corner back to my classroom. 3 hours later, the fire alarm goes off. So we start pouring out into the hall and go around the corner and start making our way to the exits. When all of a sudden I hear what sounds like an explosion. The kids now start to run and scream because they know this isn't a drill. This isn't a drill. Something real is happening. Bang, bang, bang! The sounds keep coming. I don't think instincts kick in, and I know I have to protect my kids. All right, everyone in the classroom now! Hurry, go, come on! We all get in the classroom. We get down on the ground. And I pray that all this will go away. This is just a nightmare, and I'm going to wake up any second, and everything will be okay. Please, God, take this away. You took Evie's cancer away, God. Now please take this too. No. Evie, her classroom was right by the door. I run out the door and down in Evie's classroom, but there's no one there. I don't even think about the gunman waiting outside. I bolt through the main doors, but there's no gunman. There's just panic everywhere. There's people screaming and crying and... Evie? Evie? No, please, God, no! Evie, wake up, please, wake up! Please, God, don't take her now! Just give me a little more time! Please don't take my Evie! Slowly, the details filter in. There were 2 boys with guns, just 12 and 14 years old. It was all planned out. They pulled the fire alarm to lure everyone out of the building and then opened fire. 10 injured, 5 dead, 4 students, and 1 teacher. Mrs. Evangeline Foster stepped into the line of fire to save one of her students. 13-year-old Angela Brooks. I taught Angela too. She's the sweetest, nicest little girl you'll ever meet. But you don't hear about that on the news. You only hear about the misguided young boys, hearing their names, seeing their faces day after day on TV. You start to hate these boys. But whenever my blood starts to boil, I just think of Evie. I think of how she loved every child for who they were. And I know that if she were in my shoes, she would try to find a way to forgive. But no matter how hard I try to understand, there are days when I wish these boys were dead and gone! It's on those days that Evie is teaching me still. Teaching me to forgive, to live, and to love. It was on one of those days that I received a letter from Angela Brooks. Dear Mr. Foster, I am so sorry that Mrs. Foster is gone. She saved my life and I would like to thank her, but I don't know how. So instead I would like to thank you. Thank you for being a good husband, Mrs. Foster. She talked about you in class all the time, so if you were sad, just remember, she loved you very much. I know you and Mrs. Foster are not my family, but I just want to say that I love you too. See, Evie, you made a difference. I miss you, Evie. I love you. There are no other words. Thank you.